Ever seen a car with handlebars instead of a steering wheel? One that opens like a Tupperware box and goes 55 miles per hour, 88 kilometers per hour on a lawnmower engine? Circus unfold. Ladies and gentlemen, and my friend Timmy, have you ever seen a vehicle so tiny, so quirky, so weirdly wonderful that it made you question everything you thought you knew about personal transport? I'm talking about something that looks like a cross between a jelly bean and a Cold War fighter pod. And no, it's not one of Bob's alien escape capsules, though I bet he's already building a tinfoil garage for it. Today on Cool Ideas, we're diving headfirst into one of the most obscure machines ever to pop a wheelie on the timeline of automotive insanity, the 1957 Jurisch Motoplan prototype. Before we unhinge this little clamshell of genius, hit that subscribe button like it just cut you off in traffic. We've got more strange vehicles than Timmy's got unpaid bar tabs, and believe me, that's a global crisis. Now, for the curious and the courageous, what exactly is a Motoplan? Picture this. Germany, 1957. Carl Jurish, a former motorcycle racer and inventor who clearly didn't trust four wheels, decides to build a vehicle that sits somewhere between a jet pod, a sci-fi insect, and your neighbor's garage project gone right. He takes a Stibe S250 motorcycle sidecar, rips it open like a sardine can, and voila, we've got a body. The nose and windshield were stolen from a Messerschmitt KR, and the guts, engine, and drivetrain came from a Heinkel cabine. That's like building a spaceship out of Grandma's sewing machine, a hairdryer, and leftover IKEA screws. But somehow this Frankenstein contraption actually worked. Underneath that teardrop-shaped shell sat a 173 cubic centimeter Heinkel single-cylinder four-stroke engine with a mighty 9.5 horsepower. That may not sound like much, but when your car weighs less than Timmy's fishing cooler, you'll be zipping around at up to 55 miles per hour, 88 kilometers per hour, just enough speed to feel alive, and slightly enough to regret it. It's mated to a 4-speed motorcycle-type transmission with reverse. The drivetrain was connected to a 4-speed transmission with reverse, which is more than I can say for Timmy's mental gear system. Front suspension and brakes, straight from the Messerschmitt. Rear suspension, rubber. Brakes, drum-style, cable-operated. Entire chassis, one cleverly split and flipped sidecar shell acting as a monocoque. And wheels, just 8 inches. Roughly 4.00 by 8 inches tires, basically dinner plates. The length, 7 feet 6 inches, 2,286 millimeters. Width, 4 feet, 1,220 millimeters. If it were any smaller, you'd have to wear it like pants. And speaking of getting inside, the whole thing opens like a transformer made by IKEA. The canopy lifts upward from the front and tilts back like a transparent visor on a space helmet. The rear engine cover, on the other hand, lifts up from the back and tilts forward like a hood installed backwards. Even the fuel tank and seat pivot upward, revealing even more of its inner workings. This isn't a car, it's a mechanical butterfly on engineering steroids. And then there's the steering. Not a wheel, not handlebars, but 2 vertical sticks on either side of the seat. Imagine piloting a very slow Star Wars speeder using chopsticks. That's how this thing drives. The grips even had buttons for turn signals and the horn. Because you know, when you're driving a rolling conversation starter, you need to be able to politely announce your 10 miles per hour, left turn. And speaking of space, 1 seat. That's it. Carl Jurish believed if you're alone in the car 90% of the time, why pay for a second seat? Makes sense. Unless you're Timmy, who still thinks every front seat should recline into a bed. But don't let its size fool you. The Motoplan was an efficient, forward-thinking nugget of engineering. Carl wasn't just building a toy, he was building the future. Just a future where people didn't mind getting laughed at stoplights. Now let's take a moment and pour out a drop of respect. Carl Jurish was no amateur. This guy had built a shaft-drive motorcycle with telescopic forks by age 21. Then at 23, he made a supercharged 4-piston 2-stroke engine that scared the hell out of DKW engineers a decade later. The Motoplan wasn't a fluke. It was the next phase in a lifelong war on boring transport. Carl didn't want to build family cars. He wanted to give you a pod, a personal spaceship, a weatherproof, sidecar-powered rebellion. So he built 3. That's it, just 3. One was sporty, one had a taller canopy, and one was a tiny commercial delivery van. Because sure, let's see what happens when you haul cabbage in a bubble. But did it sell? Oh boy. Carl shipped one prototype to the US, hoping the land of Elvis and chrome fins would fall in love. Instead, it sat in a Florida dealership until it faded into history like a bad suntan. America in 1957 wasn't ready for tiny. They wanted V8s, not vitamin supplements with wheels. Eventually, a microcar collector named Vic Hyde found the prototype rusting away. Thinking it was a Heinkel, he restored it to its original aqua blue glory, made it road legal again, and took it to vintage shows where it caused more double takes than a politician's tax returns. Today, only one Motoplan survives, prototype number 101, fully restored and still as bonkers as ever. The others, gone, vanished, maybe hiding in Bob's backyard bunker next to his AI-proof toaster. At the 2013 RM Sotheby's auction, this lone survivor sold for $103,500, 95,000 euros, that's right, for a machine that was built in a German shed using leftover parts from 3 other vehicles. Back in 1957, it probably cost less than a set of tires for a Buick. Today, it's a collector's crown jewel. Micro-sized, mega-priced. The link to the auction details is in the video description if you want to learn more. And if you want to help us keep digging up rare machines that look like rejected Jetsons props, become a channel sponsor. That's less than a can of soda, and unlike soda, we won't make you burp. Unless Timmy's editing. In which case, sorry in advance. See you next episode. Keep it weird.